What up, guys? It's Black Sudoku here again, and once again, I've got another house Negro on my radar. To be honest, I kind of like this guy's demeanor, but I think he's jumped on the bandwagon of anti-black rhetoric when he started aligning himself with Officer Tatum, and obviously, Officer Tatum is another pet to the white community. Look. Once again, I'm not saying that these guys don't have anything sensible to say. I'm not saying everything they're saying is wrong. I myself make it clear that I'm a Trump supporter. But what these guys have is they have this own virtual personal hatred of black people that they're trying to inject in the ideology of supporting or supporting Trump or being a Republican. I want to make this clear. There's nothing in the Republican manifesto that aligns itself to the hatred of yourself as a black person or believing everything that black people do is wrong. So that's aside the fact, but he was making some statements that just showed me that he's way off course. So I wanted to take it through, and then we'll go through it. I'll go through it with you. We're gonna listen to what he has to say. This is a video where he's talking about AOC, where he's against her position of defunding the police. I don't support the concept of defunding the police, but at the same time, I have alternative views. So we're going to deal with him. When we're done with him and hearing what he has to say, where I'll be pausing and giving my feedback in the middle, then we're going to come to this whole concept about defunding the police. So I've sort of skipped his part of playing AOC in his video, and we're going to jump straight into his personal rhetoric.
What she's saying is not going to actually work. It does not make any sense because the police simply being there does not cause a neighborhood to become dangerous. That's not how that works. The police are a force that makes neighborhoods safer. Okay. If you have a safe neighborhood without a large police presence, it's because it's a safe neighborhood already. The police are not going to cause it to be more dangerous. It'll have the opposite effect. It'll make it more safe. The police are not generally seen in the suburb areas because you have people that aren't engaging in lawlessness out in those areas. That's how that works. The police are seen more in the inner city areas, the black, Hispanic, whatever. They're seen more there because of all the crime that happens in these places. It's not really a hard thing to understand. I come from these environments and I understand why the police are there. Okay. People don't really understand the way that these neighborhoods work when they don't live there. People like AOC growing up in a nice suburb away from the city don't really understand the way it's like in these communities. You may come by and visit or just drive through. You may have family there, but until you actually live there and you operate there every day, you're raised in that kind of environment, it's hard for you to really understand what's going on. All right. Now, in these dangerous areas, low-income communities, whatever it is, you don't have everybody engaging in crime. That's a fact. We all know that. However, there is a large population of people that do commit crime. Now, how large is it compared to the general population? Not that big. Less than 1%, maybe a little bit more than that. But it's enough to cause a problem. You don't have to have everybody in the whole neighborhood become a game bringer to make a neighborhood unsafe. And people that live there are only part of the problem. You have outsiders that come in, they want to engage in drama. They want to engage in general crime. I've seen situations where people would get robbed, like on the campus of Old Dominion University back in Norfolk, and they have the suspects listed, and they're all from other places, all right? It's because they come to this one particular area where they know they can rob people, it's kind of dangerous or whatever, and they engage in crime, okay? So it's not always just the immediate locals that commit crime. You got to have police presence in these areas. Without the police presence, the crime is going to go up. That's how that works.
Do you just see what he said? Did you just listen to what he said? At the start of his video, he said the police don't make areas safe. You can rewind it back. He said, police don't make areas safe. All right. If a neighborhood is safe already, it's safe. Just right now, he just said you need police presence in that area or else the crime is going to go up. I mean, this motherfucker just contradicted himself in less than 2 minutes. In less than 2 minutes, this man contradicted himself. He said at the start of the video, police don't make areas safe. He said if your neighborhood is a safe neighborhood, it's safe already, and that's it. Then he goes on to say, just right now, that you need police presence in that area or else crime will go up. So which one is it, Uncle? Which one is it, Uncle? Which one is it? Do the police make the place safe or they don't make the place safe? And this is the rhetoric that I don't even want to call them black Republicans because I believe black Republicans are smarter than this. I want to call them the people. I don't even want to call them self-hating. I don't know if they hate themselves. I don't know. I don't want to use that term, but there is something about them that is hatred or let's say white panderers. I think that's a better term. Let's call them white panderers because what they want to do is they want to blame everything on black people and their own ideologies. I'm not here. Look, someone made a comment on my last video, said, "Where are my facts?" I'm not even giving you my ideas. I'm not even giving you my ideologies yet. I'm not even giving you my thoughts. I'm not even giving you my evidence. I'm giving you what they're saying that works against themselves. But let's listen to more of what he has to say.
I don't understand how you're going to just remove the police and have a dangerous area become more safe. That simply doesn't make any sense. All right. And I've said it before, if people that want to defund the police or remove the police, they don't really care about the actual effects of this. They don't care if the black on black murder rate goes up 200, 300, 400%. I said that in a debate on TV on RT. And if you want to see the debate, I'll link it in the box below. I said it on TV. People thought I might have been exaggerating, but nah, we've seen like a 600% increase in shootings somewhere in the U.S. It might have been in LA County, somewhere like that. We've seen a very big uptick in shootings, not just LA County, but of course Chicago. I mean, that's kind of unfortunately commonplace. That's becoming more and more. New York City, Philadelphia, all over the United States, where you're talking about having less police, you're going to have more crime. Because when you say something like, okay, we're going to defund the police, less police officers, less enforcement, all you do is give a green light to the criminals to go commit crime. And sometimes you get guys who come from other states even to go to a soft city, a sanctuary city, especially to sell their drugs, to move to prostitutes, to commit general crime. You may have serial rapists, serial killers that come to these places to commit their crimes. That's going on, okay?
Again, he's debunking himself, okay? He's telling you that when there's less police, you're going to have these criminals who are going to come in to either cause trouble, sell drugs, or I don't know if did he just say rapist, whatever. He just said that, okay? Now let's face it, all right? The odd drug dealer is not going to simply walk in a nice white neighborhood or a gated community and just have a gun on him or just start throwing drugs around and slanging around the corner. That's not going to happen. There's a reason why. Because they know the moment they step in that neighborhood. Wait, hold on. I would even get to the moment they step in that neighborhood. The moment they're driving into that neighborhood, they're going to be stopped by the police. Okay, so this is what I keep saying, that the people who wanna who get angry about black people protesting against the police and say, well, what about black on black crime? This guy is proving to you that black on black crime exists because of the weak efforts of the police in our community. Because what he's trying to tell you is he's trying to tell you that based on the police being there, which he's contradicted himself on both ends, but right now what he's saying at this point of the video is that the police presence reduces crime. So if we are looking at Chicago and all those places with high murder rates, and we're seeing that the police are not allowing these to go on in safe neighborhoods or more affluent neighborhoods, but yet this is going on in Chicago. I'm not bringing you facts. I'm using his ideology to debunk him. He's literally telling you that it's because of the weak efforts of the police in these. I've got my reserved ideologies. I'm not even bringing that into the picture now. My reserved ideologies is I believe the police are part of bringing in the guns and the drugs into the black community, especially when you have a low income area where they're less likely to be able to buy these guns, especially when you have a low income area where with tight gun laws, all right, yet there just happens to be so many guns in that area. How does that happen? So I believe it's the police, but I'm not bringing that one in now. I might do it in this video, I might not do it in this video. I'm just letting you know that he's calling himself a bullshitter. But let's see what else he has to say. Let's roll the video.
Because the sanctuary city thing, talk about that right quick. If you have a sanctuary city and you're defunding the police, well, what's going to stop a drug cartel from Mexico coming in, setting up shop, and doing whatever they want to do? Okay. Oh, so what? It's just drugs. It's their own body. But you don't understand what drugs do to an environment. I've lived in a drug infested neighborhood before. People that say, we should have legal drugs and it's okay, don't want to live in an area where drugs are very commonly used out in the open. And the people that are on drugs are just allowed to roam free and do whatever they want to do. Have you ever been around somebody on drugs? Like, I'm talking about heroin, meth, cocaine, PCP. I've been around that. It's not safe. And then on top of that, you want to have no police or less police? It doesn't make any sense. A lot of times when you see big police presence in a low income area, it's at the request of the residents. Okay, you got old ladies, grandmas, little kids, stuff like that. Just want to be able to get from point A to point B safely. They want to live in their home safely. I've ducked down on the ground many a time because people are shooting outside. I'm not trying to get shot through my window or through the drywall or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to just be safe. So I'm ducking down on the ground. My cousin from Little Rock said that during the crazy times, the banging times back in like late 80s, early 90s, but like early 90s especially, they would have their the entertainment center on the ground, like no stand for their TV, because they would always watch TV laying on the floor because there was so many drive-bys. That is what a dangerous neighborhood is. When you have a police presence, you're going to have less of that. And a police presence is able to get the criminals behind bars in the penitentiary away from the community. So removing the police is going to have the opposite effect of what AOC said. But like I said, people like AOC don't understand. They don't come from the community. And I got that.
So he said removing the police is going to have a more criminal effect. That means, we should be seeing a difference in the areas with more police than the areas with less police. But again, this, and I'm not using facts now, I'm just using logic. Logic tells you that the police are part of reinforcing the crimes in black communities. Okay, there's a lot of evidence to prove that. There's a lot of stuff you can, not even evidence, there's a lot of proof. I mean, from slavery to Jim Crow to the bombing of Tulsa when black people had their own Black Wall Street, to the demolition of the Black Panther movement when J. Edgar Hoover flooded the black communities with drugs and guns. All of a sudden, you think white America just stopped trying to damage black communities? I mean, I don't want to call it white America, but let's just call it this imperial force. Let's just call it the force that wants to control people and the world. Obviously, black people are some of the most resourceful laborers. So the imprisonment system happens and they work to imprison us. So they have to criminalize us. They have to keep drugs flowing. They have to keep the guns popping so they can make sure that we're in the jails. And when we're in the jails, we work for their companies and their factories. It's a simple cycle. It's a simple cycle of common sense. Don't let them get educated. Make sure the schools are bad and make sure the bad schools are in their neighborhood and make sure they cannot take their kids outside to schools outside of their neighborhood. So the cycle keeps repeating. All right. Don't ask me to prove this. It's true. If anything, I should be asking you to prove me wrong. And I'll play something in a second that sort of sits in line with that. But let's hear what else he has to say.
Address this one last thing. People talking about poverty. Poverty is the reason why you have so much violence. That's not even, poverty is a symptom of a greater problem. It's not the cause of other symptoms. You got to fix, if you want to fix things, fix the, kill the welfare state, no more welfare state, because the welfare state is funding all of this. Then bring dads back in the house and have tighter laws, not softer laws. You need more police, not less police. What are we even doing? Poverty will not cause you to commit crime. Not the way it's going on right now.
Poverty will not cause you to commit crime. If you want to get rid of crime, get rid of the welfare state and put dads back in the house. Now, let me tell you something about the welfare state in America. The welfare state is a process that says you have to be a single mother. Okay, you cannot be with your partner. I don't want to say husband, but you cannot be with your partner in order to get money from the state. So if you kick the man out of the house, you're going to get this money from us. Listen, if you kick this man out of the house, if a man comes and lives in your house, you will not get this money anymore. What situation do you think will make a woman choose that? What do you think will make a woman say, I'm going to choose money over a man? Can I give you a hint? Could it be the lack of money? Could it be the lack of money that will make a woman say, let me get rid of the man so I could get a welfare check? Okay, so it still boils down to poverty. The reason why the dads are not in the house is because of poverty. The American government did not say, we're going to give families, if you manage to keep your husband in the house, we're going to give you a welfare check. If you manage to keep a man around your child, we're going to give you a welfare check. No, the government said, if you kick the man out of the house, we're going to give you a welfare check. If we can prove that this man is also not benefiting of this welfare check, that he has to get out of your house and go and fiend for himself, then we're going to give you a check. Yet you're going to sit here and say poverty is not the reason to crime. Now this man is out there trying to fiend for himself. He's got a son. He's got to find somewhere to live. I'm not trying to make an excuse for people who choose the criminal life over finding a way out. I don't want to make any excuse for them. But what I'm saying is it's a reality. It's a reality that people turn to drugs when they're depressed. Now, am I making an excuse for you to go and take drugs? Am I trying to justify people who are on drugs because they're depressed? No, I've gone through depression and I didn't turn to drugs. Okay, so I'm not making an excuse, but it's a reality that depression will lead to drugs. It's a reality that poverty will lead to crime. Okay, but yes, there is an invisible hand that is pushing for the crime to happen. Because I'll tell you this, okay, I'm right here in another country. And if you look at all the black countries around the world, okay, there's so much poverty. But guess what? With the exception of those countries that have white people in them, like South Africa or a lot of resources like Congo and Brazil, okay, you don't find torn communities, black communities, because of poverty. Okay, so when you have something like that in America, trust me, it's control. But let's see what he has to say.
There may be some crime that's caused by poverty, but not like, you're not going to kill little kids over poverty. Okay, you got a 1-year-old just got shot in Brooklyn, New York at a barbecue. What's that got to do with poverty? You had an 8-year-old shot in Atlanta, Georgia, another 8-year-old shot in Alabama, a 7-year-old shot in Chicago, an 11-year-old shot in D.C. I could go on and on and on. What does a little...
I'm going to give him that. That's true. There's a lot of horror that happens that has nothing to do with poverty. All right. But what you have to understand is poverty creates culture. All right. If you're living in a nice gated community, and every time you step out, everyone is so affluent, everyone is so happy, everyone has their money. You're going to have a culture where people step out their houses and they greet each other and they're so nice to each other because you feel safe around each other. You've built that because of your financial status. Okay, now let's say you live in a place where there's poverty. Let's say all this irrelevant killing that you're talking about is not going on, but you have people who are ready to rob you. That's a crime of poverty. Or people are ready to kill you because of poverty. What tends to happen is someone who might be in that position might one day get a gun because he's thinking, I need to defend myself from someone who can potentially kill me, or I need to get a gun in case one day I need to rob someone. So he has a gun. Now, maybe he doesn't decide to rob anybody. Maybe his life goes on and he's not robbing someone, but he has a gun. He gets into an argument. He knows the next person has a gun and he's a hothead. So you have this culture that starts to build. It's not like you live in the world of crime and poverty. So that means all of a sudden, with the exception of crime and poverty, the attributes that are created in the culture don't live on. It's called culture. It's built based on economic and some traditional and historic and environmental aspects, but it's culture. It builds because of poverty. You will not have people in an affluent community of all races acting like people in the ghetto minus the crime. It's not just the crime that is built out of poverty. It's a culture that's built out of poverty.
Little kid got to do with poverty. What does that got to do with poverty? Like, why are you killing little kids? It's because of other issues, lack of fathers, lack of proper home training, bad culture. That's the cause of these issues we're facing today. Not
And that could be true, but again, it's because of the welfare system that rewards the woman for kicking the man out the house, which then comes back to poverty. And this is what I'm saying. These guys keep debunking themselves.
the police. The police, as I've said many times before, are the last bastion of hope. Without the police, we pretty much would be lost in the black community and in other low income, poverty, crime ridden areas all over the country. We'd be lost without the police. Take the police away, you're going to have more shootings, more killings. And if people like AOC and other liberal politicians, they'll just excuse it away and say, oh, well, you know, there's other things. There's racism going on. Racism, what does that got to do with killing little kids? What does that got to do with killing somebody over a girl, over, you know, a bad look? I know guys that are in jail or dead because of that. You know, petty stuff, girls, you know, small amounts of money, just, you know, jealousy, envy, that kind of thing. So, no, don't remove the police. And if you take the police out of a dangerous area, it will not become a suburb. That's not how that works. The police do not make things more dangerous. They only make things more safe. And that's a fact. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that AOC had a point about removing the police to make a neighborhood more safe? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or did she not have a point about that? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. You know where
I'm not going to let you know in the comments below. I'm going to try and squash it in the last 3 minutes. Okay. Do I believe in defunding the police? That's a very tough question with the information I have stored in my head. I do believe the police are behind the crimes that do go on in the black community. Don't ask me to prove it. You just need to go to the 80s or a little bit further back, just right after the Black Panther Party, where J. Edgar Hoover demolished black communities with drugs and crime and what have you. Okay. And to me, these guys, black people, I think we have this thing where we don't want a steady movement. We don't want a steady logic. We want to see something happen. Actually, I won't say black people because I think most black people are on par. But in terms of when it comes to public discussions, we always want to challenge each other with facts. And sometimes we got to say, look, we're not always going to have the facts. We're not always, in fact, when it comes to black people, and I'm going to tell you the truth, What we call facts is what the white man puts in the newspaper or in his books. That's what we call facts. If a black man says something and he goes, where are the facts? The fact means what the white man has put in the books. Are we talking about the same facts that has given us the wrong size of America compared to the world? Are we talking about the same facts that told us there were mass weapons of destruction in Iran? Iraq? Are we talking about the same facts that has incarcerated loads of black male for saying that they're criminals? What facts are we talking about when we say we need facts to really know where we're coming from as a black people when we're arguing with each other? So no, I don't need facts to tell me the nature of white people has lived off the backs of black people and other communities. I don't need facts to tell me that. I don't need facts to tell me that there's an imperial force that has been running the world and trying to make hell for everybody else outside of white countries. Okay, Trump is dealing with that imperial force. Trump calls them the deep state. Why is it okay for Trump to have his conspiracies and these so-called black people who are self-hating and part of the Republican movement? And I'm not saying they're the black Republicans, because I understand the black Republicans are smarter than these pundits. But what I'm trying to say is, why are you going to allow Trump to have his conspiracies about the deep state? Why are you going to support the deep state? And then, not support the deep state, but talk about the deep state as if it's a conspiracy to remove Trump out of office. But yet you find it hard to believe there's a conspiracy that works against the progress of black communities. How the fuck do you conclude that? Like, you can sit down and say that the Democrats are engaged in a conspiracy to remove Trump out of office. But yet when black people tell you that there's a conspiracy that works against our communities, you find it hard to believe. And this is the bullshit that's happening with these self-hating pundits. So with that said, I don't want to make this video too long. What I want to do is I just want to play into. Actually, I was gonna play a video that exposes how the music industry is involved in the prison state, but I think I'll save it for another one. So with that, let me know what you guys think. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a bit tired. I don't edit my videos, I don't cut anything out, I just go straight off the top. Let me know what you think. Did this guy contradict himself in his own damn video? Yes or no? Let's stop it right there. Thanks for watching.